2025 is here, y'all. I want to say thank you for a beautiful 2024. 2025 is definitely a year for us to reckon with. It is a year for us to review and for us to reflect on how we intend to improve our standing in our communities, in our city, in our neighborhoods, and in our homes. It is such a big commitment for us to move into a new year with a new direction and a new obligation for our people as well as for ourselves. So with this, I want to say we are about to dive into something that's a whole lot different. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting live on this Sunday afternoon at 3:30 p.m. in 2025. Without further ado, I want to introduce to some and present to others the none and only co-host of the Black News Network, BNN 247, Mr. Claude Foster. So thank you for coming in and joining us today, Mr. Claude. Talk to us about what's on your mind, my brother.
Well, first of all, good afternoon, my brother, and good afternoon to our listeners, and Happy New Year to everyone. And by the way, that's the kind of title of our show. Is it a Happy New Year?
Is it a Happy New Year?
Is it a Happy New Year? Yeah. And before we came on the air, we were discussing about the fact that we seem to be kind of celebrating. What are we really celebrating? I mentioned that I didn't toast this year because I didn't really have anything to toast, and that my family and I, we went to the movies and saw The Wizard because that's kind of like what we need this year. Some kind of wizard.
Like the Wizard of Oz, but with black version.
Right. Mm-hmm. We need some kind of wizardry this year. If we expect this year to be different than any other year for Black people.
Yeah.
Because when you look at all the groups in America, we're bringing up the rear. We're last when it comes to education, when it comes to financing, when it comes to employment. I mean, you name it. We bring up the rear, but we was out there on the battlefield first. But everybody benefits from that. So
you say everybody benefit from our input, is what you're saying?
Everybody every group benefits from our struggle, but us. Every group. Asian American, Indian American, Hispanic American. Every group has benefited from our struggles in terms of the key American indicators: quality of life, income, wealth creation, all the things that we think are important as Americans. How come we're bringing up the rear?
You got a beautiful point, man, because...
And what are we going to do different in 2025 so that we're not saying the same thing in 2026 that we've said since we've been freed in this country?
Okay, I mean that makes an extremely valid point, because it seems like every year we come around and we make our New Year's resolutions, but our New Year resolutions don't change a thing, because every single year we're right back at the same place making New Year resolutions that most of the time we forget about in a week or two.
Well, I bring
on into the year, huh?
Well, I bring the political perspective on, and I was speaking it from a political sense, but from a personal viewpoint, I think as Black Americans, we got to get back to our basics. Like when I was growing up, the 11th commandment was "Thou shalt not quit." We have too many folks quitting today, so I think
quitting. What you mean? That's a beautiful phrase you just made. Quitting on themselves, on their community, on quitting what?
Just quitting. Why do all of our communities look like they look? Have we given up on our communities? I mean, there was a time when we had beautiful communities. You have a map showing all the wonderful communities that we had at one time. Why don't we have that today? Have we given up on us?
What happened? What caused us not to continue with our obligation to ourselves and our communities? That seems to be one of the biggest issues we've faced lately.
I mean, why do we quit in school? Why are all of our schools failing? Why are the majority of minority schools, black schools, are failing?
What do you associate all this quitting with, though?
I don't know.
I associate it with integration. I think integration.
Well, we've lost that 11th commandment of thou shalt not quit.
Thou shalt
that
not
was
quit.
Building us when we was growing up.
So you're basically saying we've given up on our own culture. That's kind of what it sounds like.
No, I don't think we've given up. I think what I'm saying is what is going to be different in 2025 that was not in 2024, in 2023, in 2022, in 2021. And what is going to be different along Martin Luther King Drive, regardless of what state you're in? What are we going to do different politically, socially, culturally, academically? What are we doing different in 2025 to have a different Happy New Year in 2026?
That's the $1 billion question, because I really think we're fair. I feel like this is what I feel, Claude. White folks fear us. Really. They fear us being in power. And the other thing, we fear white folks. And we fear white folks because we know that there's two things going on. One, we possess every single thing we need or we should possess, except for one thing. And that is wealth. We have it all, Claude. We just don't have the wealth to do the things that we know we are capable of doing. We can't build our communities without wealth. If we don't ever get to the point where we got wealth in our corner, then we're not going to be able to build our communities. And it seems that they do such a damn good job at keeping us from gaining the wealth that we need to be successful here in America, that we're stuck in a quagmire right now. I don't know how to get out of it myself. Only thing I think that's going to change our trajectory is us starting to forget about what they have and not worrying about what they going to do, because we're concerned that if we raise up in our jobs or in our professions where we are and start raising hell, and we get too big or too loud or too boisterous, we're going to be without employment. You know, I was listening to Auntie somebody. She was a publicist, and she was making $300,000-$400,000 a year, and she quit that job to pursue what she really wanted to do, and that was to entertain celebrities and like dinner parties and stuff like that. And she quit that 6-7 figure job so she can go and do what she really wanted to do at $40,000 a year. And she did that for 4 years. And she ended up making just as much money as she would have been making working for this white man. And when she started working for herself, but it took her a time of suffrage and financial difficulty for her to get to where she wanted to be. And it's the same with what we're doing right here, Claude. We've been working very hard at trying to get the BNN 247 where it can become a mainstream media source or information source for our people. And we've been at it over 3 years now, and it's going to take more years for us to really get our message out, as long as we stay consistent. So the key thing in my mind, if we find something we like, and that could be community, if we want to build our community, then we be consistent in building our community. And the only way we're going to get where we need to be, Claude, in my opinion now, is through what you do, politics. If we never do politics, if we don't want to be on the city council, we don't want to be on the homeowners association, we don't want to be in local political events, a part of local community events and political events, we cannot change our trajectory because we're not controlling our trajectory. That is the key. We're not controlling it. If we could,
But I think it's more than that. I mean, we have the social network and infrastructure, the churches, the NAACP, the Urban League.
They don't do shit for us. What is it we're doing with it?
But that's a question that we need to ask. I mean, why aren't those institutions more broadly reachable to the majority of Black folks in these communities, whether it's Baltimore, Houston, San Antonio, wherever. I mean, where Black, I mean, you got the Urban League in all the major cities, and they have active units, but they reach a certain number of folks, but it doesn't seem to be moving the needle. The NAACP fights for human rights for Black folks.
Oh, they do?
Well, and others.
That's the what you call
the
mission.
But it doesn't seem to be moving the needle. I mean, it seems like we have the infrastructure. We just got to find a way.
Not using it properly.
We got 67 or so Black elected officials. Majority of them Democrats.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't seem to have an impact. What is it about us? So what is it about us being at the bottom of every indicator?
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we move? Why can't we move up? Why aren't we like whites and then blacks or blacks? Why are we last? How do we fight so hard?
Education, on economics, on transportation, on you name it.
How do we fight so hard to be last? We march, we protest, we do everything, and we're last. Why? Can somebody?
We got to start somewhere, though. Where do we start? We can't just. I mean, we've started. We've been on the ground floor forever. Seem like we ain't moved past base one. We ain't even moved to first base yet. So what do we do? Is what you asking? I'm just trying to paraphrase what you were saying. What do we do to get off the ground? To get our vehicle moving forward rather than just sitting stagnant, and we're working on it all the time. We ain't moving it.
I think we have to instill those values that brought you to where you are, that brought me to where I am. I think we have to instill that 11th commandment, that thou shalt not quit.
Thou shalt not quit.
You know, because back when we had it worse than we got it today, we didn't quit. We didn't blame somebody else.
Right.
I mean, what happened? I mean, where did that thou shalt not quit? When did that 11th commandment disappear?
It seems that we have never implemented the 11th commandment. We got churches everywhere, but crime rates still going up. We got political organizations coming up, but we still have no significance in the political vote. We've got every single infrastructure thing in place. That's what I see, Claude. We got 67 representatives in Congress and in the House, but we do not have the momentum in any of those. We got all the churches, we got all these fraternities, we got all these nonprofits, we got all these political organizations that's about what we're doing. Get out the vote campaign, do this campaign, but we're not making an impact on the American Black society. No way, no how, no form. We're not moving. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, because I mean, you got to look at the stats. I mean, the statistics. Why are we last?
Well, we know why we last, Claude. It's by design. It is. We're not picking cotton anymore, man. And I'm using that just to say what I'm about to say. Because we're not picking cotton anymore, the American society, which is allegedly a white society, is saying that we don't need the Black folks anymore. So why are we trying to do anything for them? Even though our significance in politics and voting has made an impact and a difference, but it's not making a difference when it comes to our standard of living, our wages, our anything. So right now it's on us. Seem like it's not necessarily on us, it's on our organizations. How can we just start with one church or one fraternity and move it to the next fraternity, and they collaborate and they do something together? And then we add another one and they do something together. And then we add another one and they do something together. And we have one political agenda that we work towards. What is it we need to do to get to that level where we can put these people in one direction? Because everybody going in their own direction right now. Nobody in Black wants to do the same thing that the neighbor's doing. We want to do something different. And that something different is what's killing us. We're reinventing the wheel every time we turn around. Even though you may have a friend with the business up and running, you rather go and figure it out from the white man what business you need to be in, or how to set your business up. You're going to go ask the white man how to do it instead of going to your community center that we may or may not have and learning how to put your business together. It just seems like we do not want to involve that many of our own folks into our own operations because we are afraid of ourselves too. White folks are afraid of us, and we're afraid of us too.
Let me ask you a question, okay? And this is a political question. Let's talk about the border. California has a border, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mexico, right?
Yeah.
A long border with Mexico, right?
Yeah.
California have a border wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why are we always just talking about Texas? What is it so unique about California? Why are they special?
We talk about Texas because Abbott makes it a point to talk about the border. It's all about Mississippi got a border, Florida got a border.
No, a border wall.
But we only concerned with Mexico.
Right.
Because we're looking at Mexico like they're poor folks. We don't want the poor infiltrating into America anymore. You never hear about a border wall up north for Canada. Well, I mean, that's not even an issue in America because I don't know. I think it's all about the people in office doing what they see fit, and they see fit in maintaining control of the Black in America, even though they don't need us anymore. Let them tell it, because we're not picking any more cotton or chopping any more cotton. We're not working in the cotton fields. So what is it that they want from us? I mean, we can open up every charter school. We can open up this. We can open up that. It doesn't make a difference. We're not getting what we need from our constituents, our own people. I mean, we're too busy, seem like. We got too much to do, too many places to go. We got too many issues to deal with where we don't have time to be working on our neighborhood or working on our community. But we want a nonprofit to be existing so we can get a hold to some grant money.
But I think we have a commonality of skin color and history. But we also have division with class within us.
Yeah. There's more division within us, though.
You know, we got all different kinds of groups that separate that and when you look at the way our class structure was set up, it was set up.
Can you break down the stratification system so I mean the viewers can get an idea of why we're talking about classes?
I mean, there have always been schisms in the Black community. I mean, skin color, light versus dark. I mean, there were colleges when we was growing up, you know, that if you was a certain color, you couldn't go to this college and you couldn't go to that college. Same thing with fraternities and sororities. There are sororities and fraternities associated with our darker skinned brothers and sisters, and there are sororities and fraternities that are associated with our light skinned brothers and sisters. There are a lot of things that we just don't talk about that create divisions within our community that are internal to us, that keeps us gnawing at one another. But to the outside world, they could give a shit. In fact, that keeps us that crab in the barrel mentality. That just keeps us pulling at one another instead of dealing with the structural stuff that's keeping us all inside that barrel. You know, we're not at the same levels inside that can, if you will. Some of us are in the middle. Some of us have made it to the top. Some of us have made it out. But the majority of us are down in the bottom of that barrel. And that's what Chuck talks about. And until we figure out a way, until we make more demands on the political system to address the educational and the economic conditions where the majority of our people, like I heard this lady talking on the other day. She was saying that who gives a damn that somebody's in there stealing stuff from their store? She said the store that got insurance. She said, we ain't got, I'm working a job making $7 an hour. I can't even buy what's in the store. And she just went on and on and on. And I think that's how many of us exist, man. And until we have a political system that addresses that situation that exists in our communities, I think next January, New Year's Eve, we'll be talking about the same thing, and the same thing after that, and the same thing after that. I just think that, like I said, what's your thoughts on I just think we got to go back to, Chuck tries to talk about, building a financial thing and contributing. I mean, you see these schemes all over the country. And that's how hospitals raise money. I mean, but we don't seem to do that. Do we not make enough? Is it not enough of us that makes enough money to contribute to things that Chuck talk about? I mean,
I think we agree. We want it, but we don't have the spare funds, and a lot of us don't have the spare funds. It revolved back around to how much privilege do you really have, or how many rights do you really have, or is this a privilege that you have or a right? What is it that the United States have bestowed upon us that we can use to further our wealth and our input into this society? I mean, if we even had our own state, like you mentioned months ago, we had our own state to do what we please, it wouldn't last long, because they would come into our own state and try and annihilate us just because we are building and we're going our own doctors, our own theaters, our own teams, sport teams. We had everything in place until.
But if we got black everything, if we got black sororities and fraternities, if we got black colleges and universities, what's so abnormal about having a majority black state? Are you saying
the state is a corporation, though?
So we can't be the majority, and we can't strategically be the majority in a black.
No, because the state is a corporation, and because it's owned by corporate people, which more than likely are civilians or older white men or something to that effect. We're not moving too fast when it comes to changing their mind and getting them to loan us the money to buy our own business. I mean, you can make money all day long, huh?
So you're saying Maryland with a black governor that's no significance?
I don't think so. I think that's the big catch-22. These governors, like let's use Mississippi for example. Chokwe, right? Chokwe had 4 elected black judges, right? The state of Mississippi went behind Chokeway and appointed four white judges to monitor the 4 black judges elected to offices in the state of Mississippi. So there's a big difference between elections and the other one. It's something too.
But if we had a majority, if people strategically moved to Mississippi, there wouldn't be a Reeves governor. There would be someone else that's governor that looked like you and I. There wouldn't be a Reeves.
Mississippi is a trip though, but it's going to be a very hard road to hoe to get a black person into the governorship of the state of Mississippi.
But see,
it don't seem feasible.
Here's the problem. Mayor Reed in Montgomery, Alabama, right, was on a hot mic. And he said, I got to take care of white folks shit, because if I don't take care of white folks shit, they'll take their shit and leave Montgomery. So how much shit do we have?
He's right.
When is somebody going to say, if I don't take care of these black folks, they're going to pick up and leave, and it's going to be...
But the thing is, we ain't leaving. We want to get closer. We want to live as close to the white man as possible. And I'm just saying it because that's what I feel
But what's the consequence of us withdrawing? What if we withdrew from the Democratic Party? What's the consequences?
That's where we need to be anyway. I don't see a consequence. I see a benefit from withdrawing from the Democratic Party as a black person. And I think it's important that we really recognize who we are and why we call ourselves black and why we have the last names that we have. Because our family name is not Smith. I'm absolutely sure of that.
So what would be the consequence if we collectively withdrew from the Democratic Party and became, like what Chuck always tries to articulate, independents, not affiliated with the party? Go where our interests can best be served.
Now, yeah, that's something that I would try and ask you about. How do you start a third party? Apparently,
not a third party.
Sean Puffy Combs started a third party.
No, not necessarily a third party, but an independent voter. That black people's vote collectively go where the best interest of the black community is served. Is the best interest of the black community served being in a party that elevates everybody above black people? Is that where, is that where we stay? If everybody else is elevated at our expense, that's where we stay?
I don't see us to stand there, no. But we ain't got no choice right now. The starting point is the key. These resolutions that we're bringing forward from 2024 to 2025 are the same resolutions that we brought from 2023 to 2024. Now it is time to stop wasting time talking about a resolution and taking it to the business owners and saying that we want recognition the way we're supposed to, and we need you to do A, B, and C. In other words, let's say we go to D.W. Brooks Funeral Home, right? D.W. Brooks is probably advertising on ABC, NBC, and CBS and all that stuff. But I consider him a friend. And it's up to us to take it from that level to another level. But we can't do it standing out in front of the store with a bag of groceries trying to give them somebody when we know that these people will take them right away.
Okay, black people, we probably consume more than any other groups, right?
Mm-hmm.
What major black supermarket is there?
What makes what?
What major black supermarket is in Mississippi? We got Jones
Groceries. We got that's the only one I know outside of the Walmart chain and stuff like that. Other than that, I don't know.
When you look at the big farms that produce the
that's Greenwood, ain't it?
Well, when you look at the big farms and stuff in Iowa and stuff, how many of them are black owned?
None. That's where I'm at.
There are black farmers out there. I guess what I'm saying is, what if we toast on January 1st, Happy New Year? Give me the things that we're happy about. Talk to me about the happy.
I'm happy that Allah woke me up on New Year's Day to be a part of 2025, because you don't always see, everybody don't see it, because right now I'm dealing with a family member who's in a coma, and right now I think he's somewhat his brain is not functioning because he's been asleep or unconscious for over 35 days now.
Wow.
And he's been on a breathing tube for over 35 days. And I don't think he has COVID or nothing, unless COVID doesn't have you coughing. But my point is, there's no specific formula to what we're happy about. I'm happy just to be alive and to be able to say that I'm alive and I want to be here today.
Well, yeah. From an individual standpoint, yeah. Happy that we made it another year. Happy that there's no,
Give me a quick minute, Claude.
Mhm.
Go ahead and keep talking. Give me a minute, okay?
Okay. Yeah, I think we're happy that on an individual basis, we're happy that we made it another year without any major health issues or any major catastrophes on an individual basis. But I'm mainly talking about us as a group of people, as a class of people. How do we take that next step? How do we get to that next level? How do we reinstore the 11th commandment in our psyche, that thou shalt not quit? I mean, as Black people, we have never quit since we've been in this country. But we seem to be losing that and losing the ability to advance, educationally, financially. When you look at the status of all the other groups who come behind our struggle, that benefit from our struggle, and we're still bringing up the rear. So that's what this show is about. It's about trying to figure out, what are we happy about, and what is going to be different in 2026 or 2025? What are we going to do different that's going to produce a different result come January 2026? And I really believe that we have to look at politics. We have to look at economics. We have to look at religion. We have to look at all of our institutions and kind of reevaluate some type of strategy that's going to take us in a new direction or advance us in ways that didn't in the year before. So,
can we start with that? Can we start on politics?
Well, I think
what's different?
I think politics are when you look at America and you look at the system and you look at the structure and you look at who gets what and how much and when and how much and whatever, government decides that. That's why we fought so hard for inclusion. That's why they marched across that Edmund Pettus Bridge. That's why we wanted a Black mayor and a Black city councilman to make sure we got our fair share of the resources that we're contributing to society. So has society said that Black folks are 12% of the population, so they only get 12% of whatever it is that we got to give? Is that the way society works? Has somebody made that conscious decision? I mean, are our schools in deplorable conditions because there's no money to build newer schools, especially in the states where we have large percentages of the population? When the last time they built a new Black school in Mississippi?
They closing schools down. I live in a town that at one time was about The biggest it's ever been was about 4,500 people.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, that was 20, 30 years ago. Now that same town is down to about 800 some people.
So it's dying.
And the elementary school just closed last year in 2024. And so the school is sitting there deteriorating right now with no students. All students have to be bused to another city to go to school, all the kids. So, and they don't know who's supposed to go and who's not supposed to go because they don't know what kids are out there. I mean, how do you track? You can't track the kids. The parents has to make sure the kid get to school or go to school. So we're not focused enough on ourselves to get to the next level. We're focused on white America's unconsciously. We're not directing our focus primarily on white America, but we're focused on white America's movement in America rather than Black America movement in America. And we're not focused on Black America movement in America because we don't want to offend the society. Because let's say you and I, Black, we go out and we start a major movement to get something done. And we're going to have Black folks oppose us, Black folks fighting against us to change what we're trying to go. And then they're trying to tell us, why don't y'all just quit doing all that mess? You don't need to be doing that. And that violates the 11th Amendment all over again. You have people in prominent positions with millions and millions of dollars keeping us, I'm talking Black people, keeping us from pursuing what we really need to be pursuing. I guess they don't want not so many of us up at the top. If too many Black people rise in any organization, what do? They shut the damn organization down. Look at Detroit, Michigan. That whole situation with the Chrysler Corporation, Ford, Chevy, Cadillac, all these damn car companies where all the migrants left the South, went up there, got jobs, and became really successful people in a community, building beautiful communities, ended up losing and moving out of Detroit and shutting down those communities. And that's by design.
Yeah,
There's
no worst example of that in Flint, Michigan. Flint, you've been there?
Michigan altogether. Detroit, Michigan, Flint, Michigan are still suffering from water issues.
Right.
You know, how can you, this is 5, 10, 7, probably about 6 years later, they still don't have drinking water all over the city.
You got places in Alabama that don't have inside plumbing facilities in rural Alabama, in some places in rural Alabama.
But you paying taxes in rural Alabama, just like you living in the city. You paying taxes from all aspects of life. You get taxed on your paycheck before you get it.
If you drive the highways, you're paying a tax. So yeah, you're being taxed at every.
And why? I mean, you shouldn't even have a damn pothole on your street as much taxes as you pay. You ain't even got a school in your town, but you're paying school taxes. I'm glad we're talking about this today because I know I own property there and I pay school tax and we don't have a damn school. So what kind of stuff does that make? I'm going to start that tomorrow. I'm glad you brought that up. We're paying taxes on every damn thing. Well, we don't benefit from none of the damn things. Like, why? You don't need my money anymore for schools when we don't even have a damn school. But you're still taxing the shit out of me at least a 6% rate. You pay taxes on your groceries. You pay taxes on your fuel. You pay taxes on your utilities. You pay taxes on every freaking thing there is.
Well, when you go in the store and buy a bag of chips, you're paying taxes.
You pay taxes on that.
You prepare food. So we contribute, but is the fact that we're only 12%, is that why we don't get the complementary resources in return? Are our numbers? I mean, What is it that
we can't get it because we don't fight for it. We get nothing unless we fight for it. We've gotten nothing unless we fought for it. Everything we've received in America, we fought for it. And in no way, no shape, no how, we've been able to get a damn thing, but shit we don't want. There's two things I know we got that we don't even ask for. We didn't ask for this shit. We did not ask for Black women to have these planned childhood facilities built in our communities. We didn't ask for that. You put that in our community so you can control our population. That's why we got those things close to us, and we got free access to Planned Parenthood.
And what's that? And what's Planned Parenthood aligned with? What party?
Say that again.
What party is Planned Parenthood aligned with?
Probably the Democrats.
Okay, name something. Okay, yeah. Put a check mark by that. Go ahead.
They are spearheaded by the Democrats. We love Planned Parenthood. We want it in our communities. But we are not the ones with the damn birth control issues going on in America. But we are the ones who pay for it. And we're the ones being targeted. Like I said, we don't pick cotton anymore, so we don't need that many Black folks in America. So how do we control that population? It's all by design.
How many health clinics do you really see in Black communities in the South?
None. You stretch it all over everywhere out here in other major cities. You see a pop-up health facility every damn where. I mean, back to back, block to block. It's almost like churches now, where you see these emergency room thing, hospital rooms, these little day things you can go to. Who needs all that shit when you got these major ass hospitals not even 5 miles from your house in many cases? But you got between that 5 miles, you got at least 3 emergency care facilities, 24-hour care facilities in between. Right. Are those privately owned facilities or state-owned facilities?
But it's for convenience.
Whose? It don't serve us at all. We don't. If you go into one of those facilities, what's the first thing they want to know? In those little facilities now, the first thing they want to know is who you got your insurance with. They don't serve you if you don't have insurance. They refer you. Now, if it's an emergency, I'm sure they'll put you in the ambulance and take you.
What's the hospital in San Antonio that serves the uninsured? Like here, you got a large hospital.
University Hospital.
That's the one.
University is here in San Antonio. Yeah. But you can go to Brooke Army Medical Center. You can go to, they got a whole damn city full of damn hospitals here.
Right.
And they're right around the corner from each other. You got the Veterans Administration. You got the Methodist Hospital. You got the Baptist Hospital System. You got the Children's Hospital System. You got all these different hospital systems serving all our communities. But that's in major cities, though. These little rural towns, all these little rural towns in these little southern states, they spread it to Black folks out, and they kept them separate. That's how they were able to form all these little cities. And ain't nothing left in these little cities now but poor Black people with no opportunities, because they won't even let a Dollar General come in some of these cities. Oh. They wouldn't let a Dollar General come to my hometown. They took the damn Dollar General and put it out on the damn interstate damn near. You got to go out there to get to you can't walk to it. It's so far away. And that's the only damn place that's near where I grew up, the Dollar General. There's nothing anywhere else. Well, where do we begin? Where do we start? So I've always advocated for going to city hall meetings. That is the start, the beginning, the middle, and the end, and everything else. If you don't go to these damn meetings, you ain't gonna know shit about where your money is going. You just paying damn taxes. You're supporting the system that dominates us, that keeps us from progressing.
Yeah, but most working maids and working class Black people, minimum wage Black people, they can't make it to the city council meetings held in the early morning hours of the day. I mean, most of these meetings are not designed for working class people. They're designed for people for middle and upper middle class people that can take off from a certain type of job and that kind of stuff. They're not designed for the working class.
But neither are professional football games.
Well,
neither are professional basketball games, baseball games. All the gaming system is nothing different than what the Romans did 1,000 years ago.
Yeah, but at least they're at times where people are off.
Well, so why did the Romans do what they did with these 100 days of games, the Olympics and all that bullshit that they used to do? You seen it on Russell Crowe's movie, The Gladiator.
Yeah. I mean, entertainment. Yeah, I mean, there's a direct correlation between our sporting events and what you're talking about. I mean, people like to be entertained that way, and
are you entertained? But the entertainment is not for Black people. We're like you've said it so many times. We're not a part of the country. We're not a part of this world. You sit home and watch it on TV. You get a better view.
You know how important it is. 14 lives were lost in New Orleans on a Sunday. On Canal Street on a Sunday night, and may they all rest in peace.
Yeah.
And they canceled a football game for 24 hours and played it the next night.
24 hours.
How many lives?
So many white folks done invested in that game.
Right.
And they're not going to lose money over no damn hit and run. They're not going to lose money over that. They don't give a damn if it was a nuclear bomb exploding on on the water or anywhere. They're going to have that game. They may have to change it. Even when COVID hit, the NBA still played. You remember the bleachers being empty, and they still playing the NBA games. Why are they still playing games when we're dying a handful a damn minute? It's unbelievable that this society is not built for us, and we're not expecting anything different from our society other than a damn resolution. Making New Year's resolutions that don't do shit for us, no way, no form, no how.
And then we have immigration policies that bring in workers to work in jobs that we don't have people here skilled to work in. Because of,
come on, Claude. You think we can't pick no damn cabbages, no tomatoes? We can pause watermelons.
I'm not talking
about that shit.
No, I'm talking about the HB1 visa, the tech visas that allow people,
doctors and nurses and
IT,
skilled employees.
Right.
Why we don't have those people to fill those jobs?
Right.
Because we are not going to pay to train those people. The ones that they're bringing in I'm going to give this credit to the ones I've met from Nigeria and Africa and places like that came here to work on visas on that what is HN1 program. That program, it really brought in some really good people. But there are people here with the exact same skill set that cannot find a damn job that'll pay what they're paying them. So what are they doing now? They're contract nurses, Black nurses. And I just know Black nurses because I got a couple of relatives that do it. They're doing contract work all over the country.
Right.
They'll go to Houston for a week, 2 weeks, 6 months, and work in a hospital and make 4 times what they would normally make if they tried to stay close to home. Right. The one thing I learned, Claude, that Black people don't want to do, we don't want to move. If we move, we can get to that promised land, but we do not want to move. Once we get somewhere, you can't pull us out with no damn claw hammer because we do not want to move. And as long as we can sit in one place, we got a job that you could, hey, if you move to DC, you can make 4 times what you're making right now. I'm not going to DC. What the fuck I'm going to DC for? I'm happy right here making 1 time what I want to make. I'm happy with that. and they keep you right there. But if you got up and moved, you can make it. You can change the trajectory of your family. You can change it. We don't want to do life insurance. I mean, it's too many times I've heard of black people not having money to bury their people. And when you run into people where you ain't got money to bury your folks, then that's a crisis. That's a problem. You ain't done something right. And then you'll tell black people will say for in a heartbeat, yeah, I got insurance. I'm good. But let somebody die, you ain't got nothing. You got to go and start saying, hey, we want to we need $7,500 to bury so and so. So can y'all do the Cash App thing? Can you do the PayPal or what's that thing? Facebook, whatever they call it on Facebook, GoFundMe.
GoFundMe.
Yeah, they want you to do the GoFundMe thing, and then you do the GoFundMe thing, and you end up raising $25,000, and the funeral is only $7,000. But instead of now, you got all that money that came in, you're gonna take $1,000 and do a cremation, because that's how we think. You know, we wouldn't waste $7,500 on a funeral if it was coming out of our pocket, but if we get it out of somebody else's pocket, it's fine. But all you have to do, Black America, file a policy on every swinging Richard and every swinging Jane. That's what we need to do.
So
that's the only way we're going to change this trajectory is to start doing insurance policies, because there's no other way you're going to get out of the condition unless you move or file insurance. That's it. You ain't going nowhere different unless you move from where you are to where there's ample pay and better jobs, or you're going to do insurance policies and stay where you at, because otherwise you ain't getting no money.
Now,
they're not going to pay you and make you wealthy like them. And the moment they see you getting close to where they are, they're going to pull the rug out under your ass like they did in Detroit.
Right.
They're going to snatch every damn thing. They're going to make them companies shut that shit down and get the hell out of town. You know, Mexico didn't just pop up and say we can build this and we can build that. Mexico been around for hundreds of years doing cheap labor shit. But then you build it here, you build your company here, and then everybody starts going up on shit, and then you want to outsource it where you don't have to spend as much money. And then you want to put contractors in there so you don't have to have them under your own HR. That's one of the big things happening too now. They don't want you as a permanent employee. They want you as a contractor so they don't have to deal with you. Now, what's the difference in that than what happened with slavery? The same damn thing happened with slavery that's happening with that happened with the companies now. They don't put you under your HR system, under their HR system, because they do not want to maintain your FICA, your tax, your income tax, all your tax documents. They want you as a 1099 employee, a 1099 contractor, where they don't have to deal with all your necessary shit to survive. Your medical insurance, they don't have to deal with any of that. You got to do your own shit now. But if you get with a company and you're doing so well in that company and they think you're going too damn well and they got too many of us in there, they're going to outsource that shit in a heartbeat. That's Boeing Aerospace. That's why Boeing have some of the problems they have now from doing all this damn outsourcing. Every damn thing is outsourced. That's why we'll never get nowhere sitting still. We got to move. We got to move, Claude. And like right now, insurance. If we're doing as well as we think we are right now, you and I, there's no reason we should not have at least 2 or 3 people insured for over $100,000 outside of our household. People we may be friends, people that we may think, hey, this person here drinks his ass off. I'm going to get insurance on this person because I think this person will go before I go. So with this insurance, if he does go before or she go before I go, I'm going to have $100,000 to bury this person, and I'm going to have $90,000 left over. That's how we're gonna have to do it, y'all. I'm telling you, that is the only way. That's what they do. I mean, you in Rome, you act like the Romans, right?
Right. No, that's true. That is
You
true.
ain't gonna make it in America unless you insurance somebody and you got somebody that you think can help your way of thinking along. That's the only way you're gonna get it, because they're not gonna give you what you're worth. You're not gonna get what you're worth. You ever worked a job that you knew you were worth more?
Yeah.
And did you ever find that they were paying other people that wasn't worth the damn can of beans more than they were paying you?
Yeah.
I watched a situation right here in San Antonio where they were paying this white woman with a dumb ass 3 times more than they were paying this other woman who had a PhD. 3 times more. She had a high school freaking diploma. And they were paying the white woman 3 times more than they were paying the PhD woman who had 3 times their responsibility.
I work side by side with a person. I'm degreed, and the person that was not degreed, and they paying me 1 penny more than they paying her, and she don't have a degree.
Ain't that some bullshit? But that's what we have to deal with. And until we can realize that this is what it is. I mean, no matter they give you a $10,000 raise, they're giving them a $15,000 raise. No matter if they give you a $1,000 bonus, they're giving them a $3,000 bonus. Every single issue, you are not getting what you're worth. So you got to come up with creative methods to get what you're worth. You got to. I was looking at a bill that I got the other day. Because I had a little surgery on one of my toes, and it was only like $300 for the one toe. And the doctor spent every bit of 32 seconds on my toe. And the bill was right around $300. So if you're getting $300 a minute, ain't that some shit? For doing the little bullshit they did, clipping a fucking toenail. That's ridiculous. But a black person go in there and try to do that, then they're gonna come up with all kind of regulations on the career field, because you're in that career field. Most of the time, if you're not in the career field, there's not very much regulation for it, as long as you're not in it. Like government contracting. Government contracting has been a closed field to black people for umpteen years, for 20, 30 years, or probably longer than that. But I know for sure the last 20, 30 years that government contracting has been closed to black people. But now black people have infiltrated government contracting.
Well, but right here in our home state of Texas, I heard the guy over the minority contracting for the state said that black people get less than 3% of the contracts from the state of Texas.
Oh, hell yeah.
Less
than in every city.
Business.
In every city. Name a city where black people get at least 15 to 20%. That's where we need to move. But I've seen that too. That's right here in San Antonio. Black people don't get no damn contracts. We had started a system where we were grading all the major entities, like City Public Service, CPS, SAW, San Antonio Water System, Time Warner Cable was here at the time. Any other major entity that was here in this city was getting a grade every 30 days. And the first 6 months or so, every single one of those companies got an F. And the grades were based on how many contracts you awarded to, not minority, but black. Because the first thing they want to do is write the word minority on a freaking government document and think that they're fixing to blow you over or make you shut the hell up because they're saying minority. And they say minority.
A white woman is a minority.
Damn right. A white woman is a minority, as well as a white woman, a Mexican, an Italian, a Greek, a Roman. Everybody that ain't white is a damn minority. Let them tell it. Because the bottom line is they own the damn business. That makes them not minority. They the owners. So until we do creative measures and different things than what we were doing, than what we have been doing in 2024, 23, 22, 21, we ain't getting no damn where no better than we were last year.
Well,
We got to change the way we look at what's happening here. We can't keep going, do what you said earlier, we were talking, doing the same thing and expecting different results.
Well, 2026 is going to be scary for a lot of small businesses because, especially like food, kind of businesses that minorities have, because food prices are so high and rents keep going up. And those are
what businesses do we do, Claude? Black people.
Well, in Houston, this is Houston, so you got a million black folks in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
So, they got a lot of restaurants.
What's the biggest black business you know?
The largest.
And don't tell me Johnson Magazine. That ain't black.
In Houston, probably Burris Miles Insurance.
Insurance company.
You got a guy that's got a development. That's a builder that builds homes.
A black builder.
A black builder, yeah, that builds homes. Insurance, like I said, Burris Miles Insurance Company. It's a large insurance company.
So you know of two industries, huh?
So you got a lot of black businesses here, medium-sized black businesses that have.
But you out there listening to, what black business do you know with a big part of the market? I couldn't tell you one. I don't know one auto manufacturer that's black.
Oh no.
One hospital or one doctor's office. Well, I know one doctor office that's black, and he's so old. He ain't got
a lot of black doctors. All of my wife, all of her friends. She got doctors, friends, dentists. All of our
all black. Most of them black.
Most of them are black.
So, are they working in a white facility? Or they have their own facility? Are they renting out their own?
They got their own facilities. They tend to be located in white areas of the city. They're mainstream. They're not in the hood. They're mainstream.
Would you open a business in the hood
that appeal to both white? You wouldn't know it was a black owner if you went to the business because they appeal to whites, blacks.
Would you open a business in the hood?
You got white. You got.
I'm talking about you, Claude. Would you open a business in the hood?
Yeah, I would.
What?
My dream business. I've always wanted to open up a coffee shop and have just all kind of books there, and just be a conversation kind of place where people can come and enjoy a cup of coffee and read a book.
You honestly would put that in the hood?
Yeah.
If you did it today, you'd open it up in the hood.
Houston is a little bit differently than in other places because Houston have nice minority neighborhoods.
You got black. You got a tremendous. What's the black population in Houston?
About 700,000.
Which is what? 12, 15, 25%. What?
About 24%.
24% black.
Of 2 million.
Okay.
So that's pretty large. That's what.
So we're in San Antonio. We're right at 100,000 black people, and over a million Mexicans, Hispanic.
100,000 blacks.
So that's not a lot of folks,
Mm-mm. But there's a lot of opportunities in San Antonio. That's why when I was
what you mean a lot of opportunities? What talk to me about that.
When I was working up there, I had an office out. My office was out of one of those office towers out near the airport. I was on like the 5th floor out near the airport.
Okay.
So I guess what I'm saying is, I'm talking about when I'm talking about black folks and black businesses, I'm talking about the neighborhoods, whether it's in your hometown or my hometown or even here. There are streets called Martin Luther King Drive that kind of define where the hood is really at.
Yeah.
in the hood surroundings. And you see stuff in the hood that you don't see nowhere else. You see modes of transportation. You see living styles that you don't see nowhere else. Why can't that be marketed? Why is that looked down upon rather than look, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
So you said certain type of businesses always pop up in the hood. Is that what you're talking about?
Certain types of businesses, certain types I mean, you may see somebody riding down the street in a motorized shopping cart. I mean, when the last time you actually been in the hood?
I was in the hood over the weekend. Shoot, last weekend.
I mean, you just see stuff that
I've been in the hood, man. I know, I see it.
I mean,
you see the 36-inch rims on the cars and shit.
I mean, you see a major.
I never thought that there'd be a rent a tire place, you know.
And you see 100 people barbecuing in the front yard, not in the backyard, in the front yard.
Yeah, and you see car washes closed down, but barbecue joints in the front of the car wash.
Right, and so I mean that's I don't know whether that's a style or what. What is that?
It's nothing left. That's what it is. We can only do certain things.
Why do we say that the hood's lifestyle is a bad lifestyle?
I don't think it's a bad lifestyle. I think it's a underprivileged lifestyle.
Like hanging out at the corner grocery store, just not buying nothing, just hanging out, selling.
Even the major industries that support our communities will bring the leftovers to the Martin Luther King area for distribution.
Right.
Like right now, you can go to an AutoZone in a major part of the white city, and you can find damn near any parts you may be looking for. But if you go to the AutoZone in the hood, you're subject to get a used part before you get a new one, because it's that type of environment. I mean, you're subject to see a pawn shop all the way down on the streets. You're subject to see beauty shops back to back to back to back, barber shops back to back to back, bars back to back to back. I'm just trying to think of the different industries that Black people follow through on. You can find group homes for what Black people manage, but the worst thing I've experienced as far as business in the Black community is about white people. You want white people business just like you want anybody else business. But when white people find out that you are a Black owner of a business, they're not gonna give you their money. They'll give you some money the first time they show up, but they ain't never coming back.
But you're not gonna get the white traffic. The whole
not in the Black. Well, look at what happened at the AT&T Center, now the Frost Center here in San Antonio. They promised to do all this shit in this center, in our community, right?
Build restaurants and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I remember that.
They didn't do anything but put the building there, and now they put all the traffic lanes where when the game or something is over, you can be out of town, out of the hood in 5 minutes. The road, you don't get stopped. They got traffic cops at every damn intersection getting you to the freeway, getting you the hell up out of the hood. They're not giving you an opportunity to stop and smell the damn roses.
So did they ever build a Starbucks and the Papados and all the different restaurants?
On the damn freeway, they built a Starbucks on the freeway in the hood in San Antonio. And no black people don't even know the damn Starbucks is there. It's almost invisible. They ain't trying to market themselves over there.
So they never built up the community around the stadium like they had.
No, they didn't. Now, across the street from the Frost Center right now is a major, used to be a warehouse district. No businesses are set up in this 1,000-acre lot across the street from the AT&T or the Frost
no business.
None. No Black business. And if they, just like they tore down their projects, right? Wheatley Courts.
Right.
They built it back. And then they quadrupled the rent for people to come back in there. So you had to really be hustling the city to get back up in the place where you grew up at. All your damn life you grew up there, but you can't move back there because you can't afford it. And then they made all these promises like, we're going to put all these businesses around the bottom of the housing project, right? But the businesses face the highway. You got 10 feet between the highway and the business door front. There's no parking, no way to get in the business. You got to park about a half a mile away to walk back around to these businesses. And these businesses are not black. But yet I see a white person open up a damn business to sell different kinds of cheese, and the business is a success story. We can't do that. We are not, we stuck on what we can make money at, and that's being a barber, being a beautician, being a car washer. That's what you see, being a club owner, being a restaurant, a barbecue joint. You know, those are the businesses we are stuck on. When we open up stuff like an insurance company, like you were talking about, a home builder.
Yeah, black people that own like a wine bar, or some kind of more sophisticated kind of businesses.
It's probably there, but I guarantee you it ain't over in the black side. It ain't in the hood.
Right.
There's some people here that own businesses like that, but you never know. You never know that it's owned by black people because they don't want nobody to know that it's owned by black people. Well, Claude, we've been here a little over an hour discussing this 2025 transition from 2024, and really 2024 didn't give us a whole lot different than what we've been getting all along. So what do we do now?
Well, we have a new president.
We do?
Yeah, we have a new president.
Messing around.
We have a new.
Let's talk that, and then we're gonna proceed to close, and I'm gonna give you the final statement to go ahead and take us out when you're ready.
I always look at stuff from a political lens because that's what my life has been based on, politics. So I think the solution is going to lie in that political lens somewhere. And I just don't see us doing the same thing as we've always done, expecting a different result. I don't see it. And so I think as we go into 2026, I think what you're going to hear some of the same noise you heard in 2025 from black elected officials. The legislature going to be in session in Texas, and right now you got the Democrats going to coalesce with the Republicans to put in a speaker, but they're not going to get no committee, they're not going to get no committee chair jobs because the Republicans did away with that. So I don't really see nothing changing in the legislature for black Texans. On the national level, with Trump and the folks that he's going to favor, I don't see that changing the dynamics for black folks. Maybe the immigration policies will, but I don't see much changing in 2025. I think we have to seriously take a look at our political direction, and it's going to be hard. I mean, it's going to be hard to break that string. But I think when we look at all the other groups that are part of the Democratic Party and look at the emphasis and look at the attention that those groups get when we are not where we need to be, I think it's a problem. So I'm hoping in 2026 that there's some serious discussion and serious dialogue about our political direction and our political future, so that we can begin to address a lot of the problems that we talk about on this show, which I think will only be addressed politically.
How do we get away from the Democratic Party and the Republican Party?
I don't think it's necessarily getting away from the Democratic Party. I think it's just giving the Democratic Party a new framework on how we are part of that Democratic Party. I don't think we have to get away from it. You know, it's like I tell the story, like Kawisi Mfume, right? He's back in the legislature. You know who Kawisi Mfume was?
Yeah, I did it one time. I can't recall.
He was a congressman, and then he was the NAACP president. Now he's back in Congress. He's quiet as a church mouse. And you know, because $174,000 job is $174,000 job. And you know, so you know, I mean, life has a way of quieting lions. You know, an older lion is less vociferous than a younger lion, right?
Yes.
We got a lot of old lions in Congress. So we need some new lions. I think we need some new lions in the Democratic Party. Because a lot of the lions are old and they got comfortable, and the people are still suffering. The masses of the people are still suffering. And so that's why you get these other movements like Black Lives Movement and all these other movements, because people want a voice. And the old lions are not, you know, they're old.
They're not doing as much as they did when they first went into these
offices. But I'm hopeful because, I mean, you got some young people going in Congress. And so I'm hopeful that, you know, but they're going in at, like I said, they're going in as Democrats. And so they have to follow the Democratic line.
Why do we give them so much hell for being a Republican?
Well, I'm not saying that we have to be a Republican. I do believe that we should be, but maybe a little bit more independent in our vote and vote for people that represent our interests. I mean, when you sit down to negotiate something, when you go to the doctor, you're dying of cancer, you want the best doctor. You don't care whether the doctor is Republican or Democrat.
That's right.
Want the doctor. We should want the best politician that's going to that's going to represent our interests. But I don't think we don't never perform that doctor's test when it comes to politics. We don't know. We just go to the Democrat. We just part of the Democratic Party with no litmus test. I mean, is that the best place for us to be this year? Or should we be over here next year?
Just don't get stuck on stupid and stay where you at when you see what's happening.
I mean, if you went to that doctor and he did whatever he did to your toe, and he didn't do nothing, would you go back to him?
No.
You're going back to the same doctor if you never got.
Even though you know he ain't doing shit.
You know he's not.
You eat at the same restaurant that gave you bad food, made you sick, but you go back to that restaurant.
And if you've been making $7.25 an hour ever since you've been in Texas,
why do you want to stay?
Yeah, I mean, so I think we need to ask those kind of. I think we need to start thinking critically like that. And I'm not saying telling people to leave the Democratic Party and go to the Republican Party. I just think that we need to make sure that whatever, if we stay in the Democratic Party, that we got qualified Democrats.
All right. That is such a well-rounded synopsis of where we are right now. And it's all about being in 2025, the thought process we're having today is about Democrats and Republicans. And that when we go do and exercise our right of voting, it doesn't necessarily mean we need to stay vote the whole line Democrat just because we're a Democrat. Who made you a Democrat any damn way? You had to declare what you were. You don't necessarily have to vote 100% Democrat just because you're a Democrat. You don't know whether you like their politics or not. And one of the things Claude mentioned is the old line versus the new line. These damn old lions ain't doing the shit that they were doing 20 years ago when they first went into office, and they're still there. And $174,000 is $174,000. I mean, you get that much for doing nothing? Why move? You don't move because nobody's asking you to move. Get these old ass lines out the damn way. Send them out to pasture. Let them go on out there. They ain't got to go die, but they can get the fuck out of our way because they're holding up our progress. And we are consistently putting them in a position to hold up our progress. That is the problem. We're doing this for them. They're not doing it. We're doing it. The voters are doing it. So don't get hung up on being a Democrat. Don't get hung up on being a Republican. Get hung up on voting for what meets your requirement. You never know what it's going to be, and you can rest assured everything you get on a brand new car ain't something you want. Every iPhone 16 got shit on it you'll never use. Don't go get it unless you need it. You got $1,000 or $2,000 to pay on a phone that you only use 3 apps on. That's kind of dumb. Stop wasting money on shit like that. That's like wasting money on these damn Democrats, these old lions. Get them out. The 11th Amendment from Mr. Claude Foster again was about thou shall not quit. Amen. We go into 2025 with that in the back of our mind on every single aspect of our life, that we're not going to quit on any damn thing. We're going to get where we need to go. It's about the power. You give these old lions the power to do nothing. And if you continue to give the old lion the power to do nothing, then the old lion going to sit there and get fat doing nothing. Vote for what's right for your family and your future as a Black person in America. The people are still suffering, and that's where the change needs to come. And it needs to come from the very people that elect the old lions. We got to start this new political position stuff that will fix what our problems are. And until we get involved in politics, we're not going to make a change, because it seems as though this country has been the country to make things the way they are, because that's what this country wants. And as long as this country does what it does, we are not going to get where we need to go. This is the Black News Network, the real voice of Black USA, broadcasting the news from a Black perspective. You can also hear us on occasions on Wednesdays at 6:30 p.m., but for a specific time frame, Sundays at 3:30 without fail. This is week 1. We will be here every single Sunday at 3:30 p.m. as long as Allah and God gives us the power to breathe and stay alive. We will be here, just like that old AM FM station in Jackson, Mississippi, where I can't think of his name. The man was 96 years old. He's still out there broadcasting about Black people doing Black things. Give the credit where it is due. I want to ask you all to don't forget to go to our YouTube channel and subscribe to us at BNN 247, Black News Network 247. We ask that you subscribe to us, and we also ask that you go to Facebook and like us and leave a compliment on BNN 247, War Smith, or the Black News Network. Thank you again for watching. We do not own the rights to the music, but we do own the rights to what we say. Thank you so much, and have a great day today and a better day